Welcome everybody to another exciting episode of HomeKit Insider. You have me, Andrew O'Hara, and clearly this is not Steven Robles. Steven is out this week. He is out at a mermaid convention. Not the kind where you like mermaids, like the ones where you learn how to prepare them sushi style. So
that's terrible. Oh my gosh.
I'm not going to yuck someone's yum. So whatever Steve wants to do, I encourage it.
Yes.
Anyway, so instead, I have my wife here. This is Faith. She's going to be joining again, and we're going to be talking about some baby stuff. Our little one is coming up on
5 months.
5 months, and
Yes.
Clearly we have doubled down and just bought all of the smart home tech that we could find for this little monster. So we're going to talk about it, but before we get into there, we still have some actual smart home news and stuff to touch on first. Before getting to the baby stuff, I don't want to make the whole episode baby stuff because not everyone's got babies and it's not going to be super useful, but for those who are parents, I hope, or will become parents soon, hopefully this is somewhat helpful. So let's go ahead and start out. We have some 5-star reviews this week. We have one from WYZ1981 from the USA. So thank you, WYZ1981, for that 5-star review. Moving to news. Okay, starting out, we have some Sonos news. I was very excited about this. I know the last thing we need in this house is more speakers.
Also a good problem to have, I think.
Yes, because we like speakers a lot. But Sonos announced 2 new speakers this week. Their next generation of smart speakers. There's the Era 100, which is the successor to the Sonos One. It's like their smaller canister style one. Then they have the Era 300. And the Era 300 is the one that I think is really cool. So this one is all designed for spatial audio. So there's 6 drivers that can shoot to the sides, forward, up, all around. And you can even pair 2 of these with a 2nd generation Sonos Beam or the Sonos Arc. And you can finally support Dolby Atmos audio, which is awesome. So
That's good.
3D audio finally embraced by Sonos. Those guys are coming here in March. And yeah, of course, we're going to have some reviews, some comparisons with the HomePod Mini and the HomePod, and see how these things actually stack up, since Apple is doubling down on its speaker market. Speaking, I'm jumping down to the end of our news list, I guess. This is something that I've been wanting forever, and I think you'd really like this too.
I'm excited.
We've talked about this a lot on the show. A podcast or a HomePod with a screen.
Okay.
Yes. So everyone's there's a little Google one sitting right there by my desk that's a speaker built in, but it has a screen so you can see what's playing and see your timers. You can ask Siri questions and see things visually. All of this stuff would be really nice. And new rumors say that a HomePod with a 7-inch screen will be landing in 2024. I'm excited about this.
That'd be cool. Now, are they going to still keep the same colors? Do you think they'll have different colors, or will those be black and white, or just white?
I say, knowing Apple, it's going to be black and white. And it's not going to be black and white. It's going to be white and midnight, which is somehow slightly different. But it's different. Yeah, so I'm guessing we'll have. Because Faith is over here
love the orange one.
Yeah, we have the orange HomePod Mini sitting on my desk in one of those.
Stand.
Yes, those little stands that we're now going to need to get you another one for your office.
For sure.
Now that you've spotted that. But
or steal this one.
Or that's more likely. I'm going to come down to the studio one day.
It'll be gone.
It's accurate. Moving on, which is perfect timing with our baby-themed episode. Ember has launched a new baby bottle warming system. So Justin Rasmussen sent this over to us. We had already looked at this as soon as the news came out because we were both lusting after this. As
it is nice.
It looks so cool. Ember, if anyone doesn't know, creates the warming cups and to-go cups and mugs. So you can have your tea and it never gets cold because it just heats itself up. Mm-hmm. And they got a little coaster and you put it on and it'll charge it on the coaster. And then there's to-go mugs, and at CES they announced a new to-go mug with Find My built in.
Oh gosh, I would need that.
Yes, so
you
can get alerted if you leave your water bottle or your coffee thermos behind, whatever, but you can get notified of that as well as track it down market is lost. So then you're like, wait, did I leave it at the coffee shop? Did I leave it at the gym? Did I leave it at the office? And you can go in there and find out where it is. I think that's really cool. But
That's cool.
yeah, so this new one, it's basically just a bottle warmer. So there's a little holder that clips on there that actually charges it up. It'll do, I think, how many did it say? I think like 2 full warms from the built-in battery. Holds 6 ounces of milk or formula. Has a, what do they call it? It's got like this cover that slides down over the entire thing to, it's like an insulated cover.
Yeah.
To keep it warm while it's in there. So when you toss it into your baby bag, it's going to stay kind of like warm before you have to even start to heat it up. Mm-hmm. Then of course they've got a fancy accompanying app to go with it. I already wish they had built in Find My to this too. Like, why not? Like, we're gonna leave a baby bottle somewhere.
Just me alone.
Yeah, I mean, we do throw like an air tag in his baby bag, but having
but
it
not on this.
Yeah. Come on, Ember. That was a great idea. I'll give it to you for free. It's fine. Moving down the list, Ring has a new doorbell. The Ring battery-powered Doorbell Plus. It's $180, and this is unique for Ring for 2 reasons. They've upgraded video quality to HD Plus, which is 1536p, and it has color night vision. Color night vision's been around, but the higher resolution is good, and it's the first with head to toe. So when someone comes to your house to deliver a package, you can see the package on your doorstep. Because before it was like, it would too narrow. There was the human, but you couldn't see down below. I think of all the stuff we have, I think the doorbell is probably the one you like the most.
I do.
Or at least top of the list. Very near the top.
I do take a look at that once in a while.
Yeah, or even just when you're watching TV and it pops up on the screen and someone's walking up.
Yes, or it's a cat. A lot of times it's an outdoor cat that's running around.
True. Other than, like, yesterday when I'm trying to put Harrison down and someone came and rang the doorbell and the home pods in our bedroom went off and woke him up. So that was cool. But otherwise, they're good.
Yes.
Smartmi, did I add this in here? Because I don't even know. A house? Oh, I did add this in here. We're watching an ad for something. That's not what we're trying to watch. But we had talked about this in the last episode. The humidifier. The one that's sitting like on the ground next to you. I want to hear your thoughts. Tell us, everyone, what your thoughts are on this thing. We have a few humidifiers. Again, kind of ties in with baby tech, but we had reviewed it on last week's episode, but we wanted to kind of update everyone that's available. Like, you can purchase this right now on Amazon. And I have our video live of reviewing it, and you can see like the rainfall effects for yourself. So what did you think of the Smartmi Rainforest humidifier?
I'll be honest, I don't know all the details on it. I guess I shouldn't admit that to you. But it just looks cool. Like, it doesn't look bulky or anything. It's fun just to look at it, because especially the middle part where the water is. I don't know, I just think it looks really nice. It's not your typical
Plus,
humidifier.
So the last time we really bust out a humidifier, I think it was when you weren't feeling well.
Oh, yes.
And everything got wet.
Oh my gosh, the carpet, the table, I mean, everything got wet. We even put like a cookie sheet like underneath it just to try to collect the water. It did not help. It did not help at all. And this one, it was dry all around it. And I think I was amazed by that the most. I was like, there's no water below it? This is amazing. But yeah, it's really cool looking.
Yeah. So before we get into baby tech, it's time to thank our first sponsor for this episode. Faith has used this herself. It is ZocDoc.
I did.
Yes.
I did.
We deal with so much stuff. Like, I'm a type 1 diabetic. Now we have this mini human to deal with, and it is a pain in the butt trying to find, like, you got to find a doctor that takes your insurance, and then can you get in? And she was not feeling well, and she needed to go just to, like, the quick clinic type thing. And, of course, during, like, these times, out the door. What happened when you walked in there after checking in with ZocDoc?
I literally was standing in line, and I was like, okay, I'm going to be here for at least 20 minutes just in line. They walked out. I was there for less than 2 minutes. And I said, Faith? I go, oh, that's me. And I felt kind of bad because I cut all of these people and everybody was looking at me and I was like, I'm sorry. But it saved me so much time. I was in and out.
There you go. You don't need to feel bad because they can download ZocDoc too. ZocDoc is the only free app that lets you find and book doctors who are patient reviewed, take your insurance, and are available when you need them. And they treat almost every condition under the sun. So if you're not feeling your best, you're trying to find your, get everything together, finding great care should not take up all your additional energy. That's where ZocDoc comes in, using their free app that millions of users rely on. You can find the right doctor that meets your needs and fits your schedule. You can book an appointment with just a few taps in their app and start feeling faster with ZocDoc. Go to ZocDoc.com/HKI and download the ZocDoc app for free. Then find and book a top-rated doctor today. Many are available within 24 hours. That's ZocDoc.com/HKI. ZocDoc.com/HKI. Thank you to ZocDoc for sponsoring this episode.
I feel like you should say, feel better faster.
There we go. You're
Yes.
really stepping in for Steven on this
I
episode,
am.
aren't you? Yeah.
I got his back.
You're carrying this episode. Okay, so we got some smart home baby tech to talk about.
I'm
a lot
excited.
of stuff. Okay, so we're starting off with a couple kind of bassinets that we've been using. A lot of bassinets you can use for like 6 months or something, and we had two big ones that we were kind of primarily testing out. So the first one is the Snoo, which, don't know, baby things. We said like, oh, we were getting this to test out, and all of these other mothers were like, oh, you're getting a Snoo? And I had no...
We had no idea what
No.
a Snoo was. I mean, we got asked about it so much. I go, I don't know what this thing is. I know it's a bassinet, but
Yeah, it was apparently a thing that
Had no
people
idea.
had opinions on.
yes.
And a lot of people, though, they had heard about it, heard it was great, and they heard it was expensive, but they never had any experience with it. So I was really excited
No.
to test it out and see if this thing was actually worth it, because it is a fairly expensive investment, purchase, whatever you want to call it. And then the second one that we tried out was the True Bliss Smart Bassinet. These ones are pretty common. They're found at like Target and stuff like that. So what was your first thought? We had two bassinets showing up to the house. What were your initial impressions?
I did like the True Bliss look. I really liked that it has dark wood as the legs and then the white meshy material around the top. And I liked that a lot. It looked very nice. And then the Snoo, I really was intrigued by it, just by how much people talk about it. It's really nice too. It's all white. But yeah, I kind of like the look of the True Bliss a little bit more. So I was excited to try that one first.
Yeah. The True Bliss one works with a normal app. It's a kind of like a common smart life app. So it's a little bit of a generic app that can do everything from like pet feeders to baby bassinets, but it allows you to adjust, like there's like the lights around it.
Oh, yes, you could change
There's
the
like
color.
lights on the
yes.
inside that you can use to like calm your child down. It can rock back and forth, and it can play some like white noise, and you can control all that through the app.
Yes.
And so this one, I think it runs around like $300 or so. I want to say it's at $300.
400, yeah.
It looks really nice. My biggest gripe with it was that it didn't seem like the motion was super strong. It didn't seem like, at least compared to the Snoo. We just looked at these. We liked the look of the True Bliss better, and it was a fraction of the cost. So I know both of us were kind of looking at like, okay, is the Snoo really worth as much more as it is compared to this cheaper one? And what do you think?
I definitely think the Snoo is worth it. After testing out both of them, and of course your regular bassinets, we're not saying anything's wrong with those, but just between these two, the Snoo is by far worth the money.
Yeah, it is not cheap, so it's not something that everyone's going to be jumping into by any means. And they even have like a leasing program where you can rent it for a monthly fee until your baby is like 6 months before sending it back. And like that might be the way to go for people, or buy if you're gonna have multiple kids. Maybe it's worth to buy for like the first one, so you can use it for a while, because it is not cheap, but it is like magical sometimes. I've put Harrison down when he was like still just crying, and I'm like, can you just go sit for a second? And I just set him down, and it just lulls him to sleep. And like I didn't even have to like rock you. And even compared to putting him into the regular bassinet that we have, it's easier because they go into like, I feel like straitjacket is the wrong word. They call it a snoo sack.
Yes.
And like his arms get, velcroed kind of to his sides, and his legs are free so that his hips can move, his legs can kick, but it keeps his arms down so he doesn't smack himself in the face. But there are shoulder holes that you can pop his arms out of so that he can be free when he's a little bit older if you'd like. But yeah, and then they use like, I don't know what they're using to detect when he's moving or crying, but then it ratchets up the jostling based on like how much he's fussing to try to lull him back to sleep. And especially, I don't know what your thoughts are, but I think it was most effective when he was younger. When in his first few months, it was really good. Now that he's almost to that point where he's going to stop using the snoo just because he's like aging out. But I think he wakes himself up more now, and it doesn't do as good of a job. Like he can't get lulled back to sleep as easily.
Yes, it does take a little bit more time to get him back to sleep. But I mean, we like learn his cries and everything. So if he truly needs something, of course we go and get him. But yeah, I agree. I think in the first couple months, it was very, very effective, especially at like 2:30 in the morning when he was trying to get back to sleep. It helped a lot.
Even right now, we kind of go back and forth between a couple different things, like cribs and stuff, that as we test. And he'll wake up. He's kind of hit like a little bit of aggression, but he'll wake up 1 or 2 times throughout the night in the snoo, compared to a regular crib. He can get up like even like 3 or 4 times right now. So it seems like it even helps with normal sleeping, and it can do things like wean them off the motion. So if you're worried about them getting like stuck with this motion, it can pull that back. But I don't know. It's expensive, but if someone was on the fence, I think it would be worth considering. I think it does deliver what it promises for the price.
Right. And I like that it won't turn on unless his straitjacket thing is connected to the sides, and there's no like, you can't like pinch your fingers around the side at all, because I tested it. So it's super safe, very, very safe. So yeah, I think it's worth it.
Okay, the next couple on our list, we've got 2 things from Owlet that we tested, and this will be quick because I love the idea of the Owlet sock.
Me too.
Especially, first-time parents, we're obviously worried like every second something is wrong. We're not trying to be like overbearing, but it's like we don't know, and it's like, is it supposed to do that? I don't know, but the sock kept coming off.
Yeah. Yes.
Or it would be on his foot, but it wouldn't
lined up right.
Yes. And then we get
so many alerts.
Yeah, but not even like alerts on your phone, which it does. It plays like a noise through the docking station that's like a lullaby type situation, and it's annoying. And when you're a new parent that's very tired, and it seems like every 5 minutes this thing is like disconnected again, then you try to fix it, and then it's like off again, and it's kind of got to go underneath their onesie, which is underneath like a swaddle or some sort of sleep sack. It's like layers to get through just to fix this. I have been trying it more lately because now that he's bigger, I think they stay on a lot easier.
I think so too, because their feet's so little at first.
Yeah.
And it's hard to like strap, because you don't want to like too tight.
But it gives you things like their heart rate, how much they're moving, like they're awake and sleep, all that stuff like that. And I love like data and metrics, so I think that's really interesting. So I am trying to use it more now. But when he was itty bitty, it was difficult.
It was hard.
Yeah. And they do make a camera as well. It's just a good companion product, and it's a good baby monitor. So a lot of people on the show had asked, like, okay, what are we going to use for baby monitor? Like, are we going to be sticking with like an Arlo camera or a HomeKit secure video camera? And the biggest thing was no audio detection. They would detect motion, but not like a baby crying to send you the smart alert. So like the outlet, it'll measure things like the temperature in the room, the humidity in the room, which you could fix with a Rainforest humidifier.
Yeah.
That does work with HomeKit,
Fancy.
but I think having like an actual camera that is made for watching a baby is more helpful because you can get those audio alerts that HomeKit doesn't really support.
Right.
Yeah. But we have not used that one as much either because recently, with all of the fancy tech, we kind of ended up turning mostly to a standard kind of video baby monitor.
Which I like this a lot. The Mom Cozy.
Yeah, so we've seen, if you like go through Target, there's a lot of like ones from VTech. These might be there as well, but we thought this one was really neat. If you can show it to the camera, hold it a little closer. There's little Harrison actually in the snoo. It's going to get our faces.
Yeah.
Try to cover it. There it is. So this is the Mom Cozy one. Oh, now it's got your face. You have to, nope, your other side. Faith is trying to dodge the camera. Hide behind it. There it is. This is the Mom Cozy one. You can see Harrison sleeping in the snoo right now. Battery powered, uses USB-C, two-way talking communication. You can play lullabies on it. Volume control. You'll get alerted if he makes noise. It'll wake up the screen. The screen will go to sleep automatically, but if he makes noise, the screen will wake up, and you can check in on him. You can say, "Stop that, go back to sleep." Probably wouldn't help.
Probably not.
It's got like the temperature up there, but this was a pretty solid baby monitor.
I think so too, because I like to, as much as like the alerts and everything, I like to see him. And then if you're hard of hearing, there's these little controls with the colors. Did you already say that?
No, you're good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The controls on the bottom. So if he's like really yelling, it goes all the way to red. So that's really nice too. But yeah, I just like, it's simple, but you can just carry around with you. It's like the size bigger than a phone, but
maybe like a 14 Pro Max or a 14 Plus or something.
Yeah, and it just gives you that little security that, okay, yeah, he's fine. Well, kind of. He likes to kick a lot, so he just kicked.
Right. This is basically a time bomb right now. If we're going to make it through this episode before Harrison wakes up, it should be fun.
He doesn't like to miss out on anything. So.
Yeah. No, not at all.
Yeah.
Okay. Before we get to our next few, let's take another sponsor break. We got another sponsor to thank for this episode. You've heard them before. They have sponsored us in the past. It is Collide. So they have some big news. If you are an Okta user, they can get your entire fleet to be 100% compliant. How? If the device isn't compliant, the user can't log in to their cloud apps until they fix the problem. It is that simple. Collide patches one of the major holes in zero trust architecture, device compliance. Without Collide, IT struggles to solve basic problems like keeping everyone's OS and browsers up to date. Unsecured devices are logging into your company's apps because there's nothing to stop them. Collide is the only device trust solution that enforces compliance as part of authentication, and it's built to work seamlessly with Okta. The moment Collide's agent detects a problem, it alerts the user and gives them instructions on how to fix it. If they don't fix the problem within a set time, they're blocked. Collide's method means fewer support tickets, less frustration, and most importantly, 100% fleet compliance. Because I can't not make some Office references every once in a while. It always reminds me of that episode where Michael is like trying to get everyone to agree, like he's working on his negotiating skills, and there's like the win-win-win solution. It's a win-win-win. It wins for the company because everyone is into compliance. It wins for IT because there is less support tickets and reduced load on them. And it's a win for your actual employees because they know when there's a problem, they can fix it, they're notified of it, and it keeps all of their data safe. So visit collide.com/HomeKit to learn more or book a demo. That's KOLIDE.com/HomeKit to book your demo today. Thank you again to Collide for sponsoring this episode. So, a few more baby things that we get to talk about here. Moving on to the list, we have the baby Brezza. Tell us about the baby Brezza, Faith.
It is my favorite thing that we have. Well, I mean, I do like other things too, but I think what we use the most is the baby Brezza.
So what is it?
It's kind of like a Keurig for your baby formula. So you can just tell how many ounces you want. You can go from 2 to, I think, up to 10 ounces. Put your bottle underneath, push a button, and voila. You have the correct temperature in there for the water, and your bottle is ready to go. So you don't have to wait too long to warm it up or anything.
Yeah. So easy to do. There's a water tank in the back, literally just like a Keurig. There's a hopper on the top, fills it up with your formula. It'll automatically tell you if there's no water, if the formula is low, or the one thing that we didn't know. So we got this from a friend who gave it with us with no instructions, and we did not know what some of the icons meant, or that you have to clean it after every 3 dispenses.
Yes. Which we did not know about that.
Yeah, but it just like pops off like the spout.
Yep.
You can rinse it off. Sometimes the formula gets a little like...
It gets a little clogged in there. I think that's why I just want you to keep cleaning it after every 3. But yeah, and then make sure, the pro tip, make sure you dry it completely, because if you don't, it gets really caked in there and it's not happy. So that's one thing we learned too, is make sure it's completely dry before putting it back in.
For sure. But I mean, if it's in the middle of the night, your baby is fussing.
Oh, and then it alerts you.
Yeah, and you just got your snoo telling you that your baby's awake or whatever, and yeah, if you walk into there and you got to clean it, that sucks. So clean it before bed, but then it's as easy as just walking out, pressing one button, and you have a bottle of hot formula ready to go instantly.
Yes.
So that's been game-changing in terms of especially nighttime feeding. It's been really nice.
Yeah, very, very nice. So yes, I highly recommend that if you go the formula route, because it just saves you so much time.
Yeah. So since we're talking about feedings, why don't you tell us about what we got next on the list?
Bottle warmers. Yes.
Yeah.
Which we recently discovered because we go out a lot, and we were making, if we were like going out for just like a half hour or something, we would just make a bottle to go, and but we've been going on like longer trips and everything, so we thought, well, maybe we should get a bottle warmer. So that way we have our formula, we have a bottle, and then we can just hit a button, warm up the water, and we'll have a bottle ready to go.
Yeah.
In like 5 minutes.
Yeah. So we got just a super generic one offline, which is, I think it's fine.
Yeah, it looks like a thermos. So you can slide it in a book bag or something.
Yeah, I would say it's fine. It's not great. But we also just talked about the Ember, which looks really nice. But that has a whole bottle by itself. So if you're looking just for the water warmer, so there's like a bottle warmer, it's like Ember, then there's just like the water warmers, like the generic one we got. Or the other one that we really like, that we have not tried, is the Booby bottle. It's spelled Buubi. But this one looks really nice. It has, of course, USB-C support. It is I think it's just a nicer version of what we had kind of originally picked up. It's a little more expensive, less than the Ember, more than the other model, but it just looks more sleeker. It's kind of like a white matte finish with like this kind of tannish orange strap to it. I think this looks nice. There's a much nicer screen on it. But these have been super helpful if you kind of travel a little bit out with your baby.
Yes, which I like it too, because then we're not like, oh my goodness, we have to get home because he's hungry and we don't want to be out too long. So yes, it's definitely nice to have in your bag.
2 things left to cover here. Continuing with the feeding.
Yeah.
This is definitely going to be on you. You're going to be sharing some opinions on this one. But we tested out, and by we, again, I mean entirely her. We tried the Willow 3 breast pump and the Willow Go. So, go. What did you think?
I really like these because I can't sit still, and I did not want the traditional breast pumps that we received.
Like the Spectras,
The Spectra,
those big
yes.
ones. It's like a little briefcase that you got.
Yes, and you like plug it into the wall. I was like, no, I can't sit there for 20, 25 minutes doing that. So when I found out about the Willow, I was like, yes, let's do this. I didn't produce enough to really fill up the bags. So when they gave us the containers for the 3, right?
Yeah, so to distinguish between the two,
Oh yes, sorry, yes.
the Willow 3 is the slightly higher end model. They come by default with little bags that go in there, and they stick inside each of the left and the right side, or if you're just doing one and switching sides, it's also an option. But that snaps inside of the bag. Then the Willow Go there's more pieces to it. It's a slightly smaller, right?
It is smaller, yes.
And the Willow Go, it just fills up like the body of the pump.
So it's like a little container that you can, when you're done, you can store it in. Like
dump it
anything
into a bottle.
or just dump it in a bottle so it's ready to go. So I kind of went towards the Go for a while just because they were smaller. I didn't want to use bags when I wasn't producing very much. I didn't want to waste them. So I did end up going with that. Doesn't suction as much as the 3 does. I did find that out. But yes, being able to move around, and if Harrison was crying, I could pick him up. And just, I pumped in the car once going up out with my sisters. I just pumped really fast, just in the car, because why not? But yes, but then when we got the containers for the 3.
Yeah, it replaces the bag and the front cover,
yes.
And it's a reusable container that you just pop on there, and then you can dump it into something the same as the Go.
Yes, yeah. So when I got those, then I used the 3 a little bit more, just because they did suction. I did have a little trouble with the bags a lot, but we reached out to them, and they gave us some tips to help out with that, and that really helped out too. So, but yes, love the Willow. Love it. I recommended it to somebody who just found out they were expecting, and I said, don't know what your journey is, but if you wanted a pump, definitely check out Willow.
Yeah, and the 3.0 version of the 3 versus the Go, it'll measure your output, which we did learn if there is a leak, if air gets in, it'll mess up that metric.
Yes.
It'll be like, you pumped 9 ounces in 30 seconds, great job. Not quite.
No, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. But no, that's impossible. So.
Yeah. So if there is a leak, it can throw off that metric. But the Willow 3 can count how much you actually produce in a session. And it came out right at the end kind of our testing. They have an Apple Watch app.
Yes.
Yeah. So you can, it can start and stop.
You can start, stop. You can, what do I say? You can change how like
the suction.
Yes. So you can go from like 3 to a 4 without grabbing your phone. If you're not holding your little one, you can just kind of do everything on your watch. So that was really cool to test. I'm glad we were able to do that though. Test that out before I went to formula only. But yes, yeah, that was nice.
Yeah, I really liked, as the person not using it, I really liked the Apple Watch, because one of the complaints that I know Willow had heard, and that even Faith had seen, like when she was trying to use it, was like, it's kind of a pain to have to pull out your phone each time, especially if you're holding him. But if you can like look at your watch and tap, you're in a session, you can adjust your suction or anything like that without having to grab your phone at all. I think that's pretty sweet.
Yes.
So there are other, smart breast pumps out there, but I really thought this one was really nice compared to some of the others.
Yes, and it fit like all my bras too. I know they sell their own bras, which are very, very nice, very comfortable. But if you're just want to use yours, they fit very, very well, and very comfortable.
Perfect. Last kind of thing to mention is an app that I found really nice that I also didn't keep up with, but I still use in different ways, and it's called Mango. Okay, so this isn't going to focus again for people who are watching the video, but I'm going to pretend like it's going to focus for me.
Do I have to hide again?
Do you like to hide?
Yes, especially, yes, in the camera.
Okay. Hide our faces. Is it going to do it? No.
No.
It's not going to do it. This is going to not do it for us today. But Menu is an app that you can track like all of your baby stuff. So you can track like nursing, sleep, pumping, bottles, diaper changes, medication, baths, stools, tummy time, temperature, or customized activities that you create. You can watch them over time. So what we use this for, sorry, coughing. What we use this for is his growth charts. So you can see like the actual doctor recommended growth charts for weight, length, head size, and plot how they're doing like over time. Again, you can't see this on the video, but I'm pointing at it again at the camera. But there's a really handy graph that just shows you how they're trending, and you can compare all of these things. So whether you are weighing like your little one at home or whether you're just like logging stuff in from the doctor, it's really cool to be able to track that on your own. So I really like this. I thought this is a really neat app, even just for basic functionality. I quickly gave up on trying to track every feeding, poop, nap, everything else that he did.
Because it's a lot.
Yeah.
It is a lot. But it is fun to see where he is at on the chart. As long as he's healthy, but it is, although his head is off the charts. He's got a big
That's
head.
right.
Yeah, but it's funny. Okay.
Done. Just dying.
Okay.
The last thing that I really liked that we didn't even talk about or on my list, the HomePods. Because they do have the built-in white noise now, and you can create automations with the white noise. So sometimes I'll walk into the room with Harrison to put him down, and I'll just tell Siri to play some white noise or play some ocean noises and stuff like that. So if you don't have a smart bassinet that can make noises, you can just do it on your HomePod. Or if you create, like, if you have like smart lights in the baby room, you have like your shades, walk into the baby room, say it's nap time, the shades are going to close, your lights in the room will dim maybe to like 1% if you want a little bit of light because it's a nap versus sleep. And then white noise can automatically start playing on the HomePod.
Oh, right, yes.
Which is a game changer because I don't know, whenever we have like people over or something and Harrison's sleeping, if we were, if we didn't have white noise, I'm sure everything would wake him up. He does do well because we have the dogs that yell a lot.
He's very used to them.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it definitely makes a difference. I think it helps them go to sleep and keep them asleep. Our friends even who just had a kid, his number one recommendation was white noise.
White noise.
Yeah, and when he was out in public, he would play it on his phone and just hold it up to his baby's ear to try to help get them to sleep, and it would work. Yes. So the HomePods are pretty neat to be able to use that for white noise and automations in your little one's room.
Yes.
So any final thoughts on all of this baby tech that we have went through today?
No, it still blows my mind with how many techie baby stuff there are out there. So it's been fun testing it out and seeing what he likes and what we like.
Yeah, what stuff has been useful and not useful. These are things that we kind of have been living with and stuff that we've bought that we've liked and not liked. As always, I'm interested in what anyone else thinks or uses, whether it's just for us. So we have some advice on what stuff that we should be trying as he gets older, or what any of you guys like. Maybe we'll do another episode again when he is, a couple years old. And we'll see what stuff we like for toddlers. There's so many things. I already have lists of stuff that I'm excited for this little dude. So we won't get ahead of ourselves, but otherwise, thanks to everybody for listening. Yes. Another fun episode of recording. Thank you to Faith for joining us today. Do you want to plug anything? Where can they find you?
I always forget my username on Instagram.
Well, it's in the show notes. If anyone wants to go to the show notes, they can find Faith's Instagram account. Otherwise, you can give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to your podcast at. Follow us on YouTube at youtube.com/HomeKit Insider. Otherwise, stay tuned. Got another episode for you next week.
Okay, thank you.